So it's Sunday night, 7:36 Central Time. Owen Schroyer's here with me. I'm Alex Jones. And there's the headline, breaking live. Globalists assassinate Trump ahead of World War III. InfoWars breaks down globalists' next move to trigger planetary crisis. We're not saying Trump's been assassinated. They're the ones saying they want to assassinate him. They're the ones that saying they want to attack his supporters. We're pointing out that clearly they're moving towards assassinating his name, his family, his supporters politically, and they've got all these Hollywood people calling for his physical death. So they'll have, an ABC Nightline, a hypothetical anthrax attack, hundreds of millions dead, and at the end of the show tell you it's a simulation. Or we're telling you this is a simulation right up front. Mainstream corporate media, they're a bunch of liars. They'll say we said Trump was dead and ran a hoax. No, we didn't do that. We ran the headline to point out that that's their plan. They want to kill his agenda. And you've got all these Democrats saying hashtag hunt Republicans and kidnap his son and his wife and kill him and kill the president and all these plays and all these movies and all these shows. And 58 days, it's like 57 and a half now, from this historic election, what are they going to pull? Because I've got the articles right here, ladies and gentlemen. Dem congressman calls for military coup to remove Trump. And it's got his own tweets and his own statements. That's Cohen out of Tennessee. Trump loyalists fear White House purge. Michael Caputo and others say that there's these rogue groups saying they're working against the president on national security, the voters, you name it. They're getting ready to take him out. 25th Amendment. That's that whole fake New York Times article. The point is, the article's fake, but they really are planning this. Will the president die of a heart attack at 3 a.m.? And we get that news. He already, in the last almost 2 years, only takes food that trusted aides go out and get as fast food because he doesn't trust what they're bringing in. He's smart, folks. That's what goes on. And you've got Chris Paronto, the main hero, one of the main heroes of Benghazi. Obama came out Friday and said nobody died at Benghazi. It's a conspiracy theory. There's a video. He said, BS, man, we almost all died. 2 of us did die. You stood down. You killed us, Twitter banned him. So that's what we're dealing with. So it's the best of times, worst of times. And by that, I mean it's paradoxical. People are waking up. Nationalism's exploding from Brazil to Chile, from the UK to areas of Asia. People are waking up to the globalists, but nationalist candidates, they're in the lead to win, and Brazil gets stabbed in public in their liver and lung and kidney and all, or might die. And so we know what's going on. We know the plan. We know the division the globalists are trying to engage in. So that's why so many times I end up reading A Tale of Two Cities introductory paragraph where it says it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, it was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness, it was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity, it was the season of light, it was the season of darkness, it was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair. We had everything before us. We had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven. We were all going direct the other way. In short, the period was so far unlike the present period that some of its noisiest authorities insisted on being received for good or evil in the superlative degree of comparison only. That is some real literature. So good things are happening, but bad things are happening because that's how this works in any major sea change point. This is a major energetic political realignment shift away from the Luciferian left-hand path towards the right-hand path. And Prager University, I aired it earlier, we'll end this live transmission with that again. Prager, he breaks it down perfectly. Before there were liberals who like Thomas Jefferson or myself, and then there were leftists. And then there were conservatives that went along with the entire power structure. And then it just goes on from there. But the modern left is the left-hand path, meaning Luciferianism. In fact, I want to air that Prager University piece before I bring in Owen Schroyer here right now. Because, again, the Democrats are hoping for Trump's death. They're celebrating it. They're saying hashtag kill Republicans, hashtag hunt Republicans. They're calling for revolution. But then if you say, hey, Trump assassinated ahead of World War IV, they're trying to start in Syria, they go, oh, God, that's a conspiracy theory. What happens, we ask hypothetically, if they end up assassinating President Trump? What is that going to go into? Because these Luciferians never ask themselves that question. They never think a few steps ahead about what this is going to trigger. Some of the smarter folks, like Panetta, the former head of the CIA and Defense Department, and Hayden, former head of the NSA and CIA, they've come out and said, listen, you're not going to change this now. The growth rate's at 4.6% or whatever. People are pissed, 4.8%. You're not going to take this away from them. We could probably kill Trump, but that will blow up. So I want to have a debate about what happens. I'm going to ask Owen Shroyer when we come back. If they do bomb Trump or shoot Trump or he dies at 4 a.m., because here's the thing. We've already got 2 Supreme Court justices in. It was a true mandate. That didn't happen in the last 70 years where there's an election with already of someone out of the Supreme Court with a vacancy. And now 2, and you see it's probably 4 or 5. They were all holding on. I mean, this is biblical. This is America's last chance. You can feel it, you can see it. And they've got Soros and the Democrats suing us, and they've got all their fake op groups against us. And I mean, believe me, this is it. They're coming after you. They're coming after your family. They're coming after everything. And they're not liberals. They're leftist, which means left-hand path, totally un-American, authoritarian, against nationalism, against you being independent and free. They want to run you. So here's this PragerU breakdown, and then I'm going to get into they want to assassinate Trump. So let's war game what happens if they do, and then separately, what should Trump do ahead of all this on this live Sunday night transmission at 7:43 Central. If you're watching us, remember they've banned us on every major platform because when they launch their big attacks, they don't want you to have any speech. So you've got the power of phone calls, you got the power of emails, they got you so used to the social media. That's the only place you take action. If you take action, emailing your friends and family, if you take action, calling people and saying, Alex Jones is talking about the attempt to take down Trump, and if you move with your own physical will in the third dimension, you are unstoppable. And that's why they fear InfoWars, not because they fear me, but because they fear you. Yes, I'm willing to go all the way, but I'm just the detonator, the bridge from tyranny to liberty, just like you are. But I'm willing and I believe in you, and I think we've already seen the proof. So now we've got the bridge across from hell to the promised land. But somebody, to use the cheesy Lord of the Rings analogy, has to stand like Gandalf on the bridge when the Borog comes across. And that's a movie. This is real. I've got the globalists all after me. And it's not like I'm some badass wizard doing this. I understand that I've got to buy time. And I've got to point out the censorship. And I've got to stand on the bridge and say, you will not pass. And incredibly, we have, thanks to Jesus Christ's grace, and I was talking to one of my good family friends tonight at dinner with my children. She said, Alex, I knew you were a Christian back when you were a boy. She said, I was 3 years old. She said, but went to church with her for decades. But she said, you never talked about God or called on Jesus. And she said, when you started calling on Jesus 3 years ago is when they started coming after you. And it was true. Because then I was calling in the power, the airstrikes, the air superiority. And you've all got that. We've got the superior God on our side that built it all. But we have to call on Jesus Christ. So we'll do this report. I'll find out what my wife has called me 7 times in a row. And I was supposed to be home already. We had dinner tonight, my parents, like an hour ago. And then I'm going to come back with Owen Shroyer and talk about what happens if they assassinate Trump. What's coming next? Let's not think we've already won this thing. There's a lot of delusional groups out there saying, oh, it's all handled. Mueller's a great guy. No, folks. I've talked to the president. I've talked to people. Mueller's not a great guy. Hillary's not a great person. All right. We'll be right back.
What's the difference between a liberal and a leftist? This question stumps most people because they think liberal and left are essentially the same. But they're not. In fact, liberalism and leftism have almost nothing in common. But the left has appropriated the word liberal so effectively, almost everyone, liberals, leftists, and conservatives, thinks they are synonymous. But they're not. Let me offer you 6 examples. 1. Race. This is probably the most obvious difference between liberal and left. The liberal position on race has always been A, the color of a person's skin is insignificant, and B, those who believe race is significant are racists. Meanwhile, the left believes the very opposite. To the left, it's the liberal attitude toward race. It's unimportant. That is racist. That's why the University of California officially lists the statement, "There is only one race, the human race," as racist. And liberals have always been passionately committed to racial integration, while the left is increasingly committed to racial segregation, such as all-black dormitories and separate black graduations at universities. 2. Capitalism. Liberals have always been pro-capitalism because liberals are committed to free enterprise and because they know capitalism is the only way to lift great numbers of people out of poverty. It is true that liberals want government to play a bigger role in the economy than conservatives do. But liberals never opposed capitalism, and they were never for socialism. Opposition to capitalism and advocacy of socialism are left-wing values. 3. Nationalism. Liberals believe in the nation-state, whether that nation is the United States, Brazil, or France. But because the left divides the world by class rather than by national identity, the left has always opposed nationalism. So, while liberals have always wanted to protect American sovereignty and borders, the left is for open borders. When the writers of Superman were liberals, Superman was a proud American whose very motto was truth, justice, and the American way. But that all changed a few years ago when left-wing writers took over the comic strip and had Superman renounce his American citizenship to be a citizen of the world. The left has contempt for nationalism, seeing it as the road to fascism. Better that we should all be citizens of the world in a world without borders. 4. View of America. Liberals have always venerated America. Watch American films from the 1930s through the 1950s, and you will be watching overtly patriotic, America-celebrating films, virtually all produced, directed, and acted by liberals. Liberals were quite aware of America's imperfections, but they agreed with Abraham Lincoln that America is the last best hope of Earth. The left, however, believes the left is the last best hope of Earth and regards America as racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, violent, and imperialistic. 5. Free speech. No one has been more committed than American liberals to the famous statement, "I wholly disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it." But the left is leading the first widespread suppression of free speech in modern American history, from the universities to the tech companies that govern the internet, to almost every other institution and place of work. Of course, the left claims to only oppose hate speech. But putting aside the fact that the left deems hate speech anything it differs with, protecting what you or I might consider hate speech is the entire point of free speech. 6. Western civilization. Liberals have always championed and sought to protect Western civilization. Liberals celebrate the West's unique moral, philosophical, artistic, musical, and literary achievements, and have taught them at virtually every university. The most revered liberal in American political history, President Franklin Roosevelt, often cited the need to protect Western civilization and even Christian civilization. Yet when President Donald Trump spoke of the need to protect Western civilization in a speech in Warsaw, the left-wing media, also known as the mainstream media, denounced him. They argue that Western civilization is no better than any other, and that Western civilization is just a euphemism for white supremacy. So then, if liberalism and leftism are so different, Why don't liberals oppose the left? In a nutshell, because they have been taught all their lives to fear the right. But as one of the best-known liberals in America, Harvard Law School professor Alan Dershowitz said, as a liberal, as an American, and as a Jew, I far more fear the left than the right. Dear liberals, conservatives are not your enemy. The left is. I'm Dennis Prager. To help keep these videos free...
Yeah, go to the Prager University, and that's why they banned him on YouTube and did all that, because I've studied the history. What he said is the total truth. And America is about liberalism. It's not about leftism, which is the Jacobins and all of that. And so we have this headline out tonight to get your attention. The left is calling for Trump's death, his family's death. They're calling for America's death. They believe nationalism should be killed. They want big corporations that, sell to the Chi-Coms like Apple and Google to run things. I was sitting there Wednesday of last week, far beyond my press conference, and I was hearing even Senator Cotton go, I'd seen this in the news, but to hear it in the committee, the Senate Intelligence Committee, well, Google won't even work with the Pentagon or the Congress anymore. You've moved to China, and you're doing advanced machine learning and AI with them, with the army of China, and they have this algorithm, and they think we're done, and the algorithm tells them, and I'm not bragging here. This is not a power trip. It's actually very frightening. Their algorithm says Donald Trump, Alex Jones, NRA, Matt Drudge, you, populist. And they have algorithms that say if you wake up, it's over. So they're banning all of us from communicating because there's a handful of groups and we're already, they think, gone. They've got further future predicting algorithms, and these dudes are not little trendy liberals. They all act like little effeminate men because they're raging authoritarians involved in horrible human oppression. And the fact that they would sit there, Tim Cook and Jack Dorsey and all of them, in front of Congress this week when I was there and say, we're not spying on anybody. We're not censoring anybody. When they're doing it in mass and they've moved to authoritarian countries is a danger. And now Trump's own administration people have come forward. Trump loyalists fear White House purge, where all these other people are in the New York Times, you name it, saying F Trump, he's a traitor when the economy's coming back. We're in the middle of the coup. And the fact that they would draconianly silence me and silence Chris Tonto Peranto, the hero of Benghazi, and thousands of others just this week shows they're going for broke. They believe authoritarianism will win. They believe they're about to seize control of the economy and life. And once you're starving, you'll do whatever they say. I mean, we listen, I wouldn't risk my life in a pissing contest with Republican or Democratic senators. I wouldn't march into Senate hearings and take over press conferences and stuff, because believe me, nobody does that because they kill you if you do. John Lennon wrote songs against him, and Strom Thurmond wrote letters saying, kill this son of a bitch, and they killed him a month later. So I knew I was skating on death's thin ice when I did that, but it's because this is anti-human, and I got to do that. Look, I'm not looking to act tough or make points with these assholes. I'm doing this because my soul knows if I don't make the right choice, I'm not going to be with God. And that's really what guides me is I think about what gets me close to God. That's what I do. And I look at other people that don't have that connection to God, and I feel really sorry for them because, man, I watch people, and I saw it in those hearings. I love to bring HD cameras in there. When they had reporters crawling around on the ground taking photos, and they weren't doing it just to crawl around and get photos. They were crawling on their arms, taking photos of these senators. And they had people like reading into these machines what they were saying. And these senators were just sitting back, mainly Democrats, Republicans too, just like bathing in the worship. And it was all a sick, satanic feast on America's spirit and America's strength. America's strength wasn't some corrupt Senate meeting room. It wasn't some corrupt House meeting room. It wasn't a bunch of damn lobbyists. It was trailblazers and miners and engineers and workers and fighters, from the Native Americans right through to the Irish and Scottish and German and Italian and immigrants. And I just know now that this decision we make is the most important ever. So, yeah, there's the headline. It's not clickbait. It's the truth. Trump assassinated. If he's assassinated, what comes out of that? Because they're not thinking one step in front of their nose. And they're so exponentially scared, not of Trump, but of the human awakening that's happening. And we are in a political and cultural and spiritual intergalactic realignment right now. This is a choice. And humanity's making the right choice. And so I'm very honored to be picked out in the pantheon of souls who do shine like stars in the darkness of these devils. Because Hollywood's a lie, but they call us all stars because our souls do shine in the dark. Especially if you're outside of that and you're a Satanist. You're in this dark dungeon of control and you're staring out. You see these shining souls. And out of all the pantheon of all the great souls in the world, they've chosen Trump and they've chosen me, two pole stars to attack. So people say, how are you taking the demonization, the attacks, the dirty tricks, the things I can't mention here? And I say, I'm taking it well. I'm just hoping I am up to the task of this honored position. If they kidnapped me today and took me out in the field and beat the shit out of me and blew my head off, I'd be honored. I mean, you have to understand, like, I'm so committed to be in this position that I don't feel worthy of the office of the purity of the Spirit. It's so pure. When you dial into God's purity and you see God's consciousness, it's like Moses said, you can't look at God. It's got to be blocked off. It's true. Because you're so fallen and you think death threatening me or even my family will make me serve you. You think that I don't already know, but then you think, oh my God, they don't know. All these billions of people don't know. They're dialed into TV and media and their souls are distracted. And if we don't break through their comfort zone, we could lose these people. And I don't think God is going to smile upon that. So it's easy to love God. It's easy if you were born, elected, in a Calvinist sense, to be connected to God, to sit there and understand God. But you have to get these people. Because if you don't try to save them, well, it's not good enough to love God. I tell you right now. You have to deliver. Because if you don't claw back some of these people from Satan, I can tell you right now, when you face God, you're not going to be with God. And I'm in a lot of fear of God right now because despite everything I've done, I'm not even sure I'm on the right side right now. So I'm telling you right now, this is a big deal right now. This is a big deal for your soul, which side you're on. And people can make jokes all day. They can laugh about this. But Owen, you take over about 10 minutes. You've been sitting there for 20 minutes holding while I babble. But I mean, I can just feel metaphysically the energy of the earth. Everything is at a rage level right now.
Well, unfortunately, Alex, most people have a general hubris that leads them to believe that they're always in control of their life. No one has ever influenced them. There's been no subliminal messaging, no subconscious. They're in full control. They make every decision in their life consciously, and it's all, played out in their minds that way. And so because of that hubris, when someone tries to say to them, hey, look, this has been laid out for you. This is the path that they've chosen for America to go. And so you're basically telling them, you're not making the decisions. You're not in control of their destiny. And the hubris and arrogance fights back and lashes back because until you witness it, until you see the lie, until you realize the big lie, until you are actually faced with it, until you swallow the red pill, that arrogance and that hubris defeats your instincts and your common sense to realize that there is a greater control out there. Well, what are we talking about? There have been plans laid afoot for centuries, quite honestly, for where humanity is going to go. And we are now in the final age. People, and that's another thing, people don't understand astrology. They never study astrology, so they don't understand the bigger picture and how humans are just like ants on this one rock floating through space. So it's all this human arrogance that clouds their vision. But we are in a turning point right now. The universe is literally turning point, a new age. It's a new age happening. Now,
and we have to choose.
And the elites have already laid out humans' role in the new age, Alex. We're machines. We're going to be machines. We're going to be batteries, and we're just going to churn whatever it is the powers that be want out of Earth, whatever that may be. And so everybody's going into the digital world.
We're garbage.
And they're losing their touch with reality. They're losing their touch with the physical dimension. Everything is going digital. That was the plan. That has been the plan since the 50s. Okay, and this is a lot of it has been declassified. Just look at what they did with the release of the television, if you don't believe me, delaying it so they could figure out the flicker rate to brainwash humans. So when you try to tell someone this, they think you're crazy. They're going to fight you on it, and they're going to lash out because how dare you tell me I'm not in control of my life? How dare you tell me I'm not the one making decisions here? You were never in control of your life. Yeah, you get to make the trivial decisions in the day-by-day basis. Are you going to do X? Are you going to do Y? Are you going to get married here? Are you going to do whatever? God is in control overall, and the universe, the creator is in control here, and the universe is in control of the overall process, moving constantly.
And there's an attempt to falsely here take control.
So the powers that be that are behind Google, behind Apple, and have been behind every president probably since Eisenhower, have decided we're going to send America down the globalist path. We're going to go with the Chinese communist system of control because it's easier to control people that way, and we can brainwash them that way a lot easier, and they won't fight back. So what are they going to do? Well, Hillary would have gotten in, and that would have been right with the plan, right in step, in lockstep, bringing America to its knees, eventually bringing the one world government and basically turning humans into digital people, not even real anymore. Killing humanity is what it is. Population control that elites have been talking about and have decided upon for, again, centuries ago. So we have to make the decision right now, Alex. Do we want to be human? Do people want to be human? Do they
No, I agree. So there's
love?
this artificial evolutionary development that they're trying to direct is a nightmare. My point is they are wanting to kill the president. So the headline is they're trying to do that. I mean, how do we stop that?
Well, they'll kill anything they have to kill. Of course they want to kill the president. I mean,
so, but give me your real breakdown. Who do you think Trump really is? Because my gut tells me he's good because he just is for progress. He's not against life. He's not a Satanist. But why do they fear him so much? And then what is his office?
I think that right now, what Trump has done is real. I think Trump is real. I still support Trump. I would even say I love Trump. I think he's the best president in maybe American history. That's tough. I mean, certainly from my life. But here's the issue that I have with Trump is that, and we'll see what happens, but you have, in my opinion, Alex, all the hearings that these social media companies have had, they all committed perjury. They all committed perjury. They
all said we don't censor anybody.
Of course you.
And we have undercover videos. They admit it.
So that's what I'm saying. So this kind of stuff still exists.
Well, see, because Trump keeps thinking like business. If I bring them in, they'll be nice. No, it's about power.
No, these people will murder, savage, kill, destroy anything in their way of planetary control with the digital place. That's
because exactly they don't want to be successful. They want power.
So for them, they'll sit back, Alex, and they'll say, okay, Trump is in our way, but we've kind of got things in Trump's way. So there's kind of this game like, all right, Trump is successful here and there, but in the long run, maybe we can defeat him. And he's still not taking us down here. So they kind of, they have this formula in their head right now that says, if we let Trump exist, here's what's going to happen. If we kill Trump, here's what's going to happen. If they kill Trump, there will be an armed revolution in this country. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. If they assassinate Trump, good old boys are going to grab their rifles and go to D.C.
We're not. They keep saying I'm calling for violence. I want to stop this, but no. Santa Claus has been taking a list. He's been checking it twice, and I don't. Which is crazy. A lot of these guys have jets ready and helicopters ready to run. Well, then why are you trying to run this operation when if we just give people prosperity, we leave you alone?
Because it's not about that. It's about population control. It's about global control.
Well, it's a spirit.
Well, these people don't realize, at a ground level, people don't understand the spirit of good and evil. People are spiritually dead. I mean, that's the sad part about our culture is that spiritually, most people are just dead.
So, but you're not. So what is the spirit of the enemy versus the spirit of God? And what do you think they're planning? Because they are energetically, last year, they balked last year. This year, I can feel they're making their move. They've decided that pissing on America, because they hate America so much, they hate strength, they're going to make their move.
I think that they've decided they can pigeonhole Trump enough to start a war in Syria and topple Syria and bring in the centralization of the Middle East. I think that is their big plan right now. And even though Trump is probably against it at a gut level, at a political level, he's going to be forced to go along with the lie. He's going to be forced to come out and say, yep, they chemically attacked. Assad's bad. We have to take him out.
But I agree. But the Middle East is only one part of this equation.
But they think that if they can get Trump out in 8 years, they'll sacrifice these 8 years in America if they can get their next person in. They'll sacrifice 8 years in America if they can topple Syria because it's part of the bigger plan. So I feel like they'll let Trump live if they can get a couple things done in the bigger plan. But if Trump stops all of it, then they're just going to kill him. And then that's when they go to the formula. Okay, if we kill Trump, what's the response? If we let Trump out,
I was about to say, so because they've got all these crazies wound up, people that work around him. If they kill Trump or he dies in the middle of a heart attack, what happens?
I mean, I'm not going to get violent. I'm not calling for violence, but
well, sure, because exactly, with random violence. Yeah.
But you know what's going to happen? The good old boys are going to grab their rifles and they're going to go to D.C. And that's what's going to happen. And
well, I think it won't be in D.C. And I'm not saying this is a threat. I think people will, members of Congress, members of the House and Senate, I think Democrats will have a big problem in their own districts.
Well, but let's be clear here. Republicans are already under threat. I mean, Alex, your life is under threat. I mean, we talk off air. I mean, it's no joke, man. I'm honestly concerned for your life, And that's what I have to think about. And if people just understood, they start wars and kill millions of people just to create a pipeline so they can make billions of dollars.
Exactly. And they don't do it here because they can't get away with it because of Christian Americans. And it's only that morality that's held that back.
I would say, though, just like Republicans and conservatives are under threat right now, from just radical street violence or even to get shot like Steve Scalise, what have you, if they pull the trigger and take Trump out, it's going to be the opposite. And this is just real talk, Alex. Honestly, the average Democrat senator can walk around. Nobody's gonna threaten their life. Nobody's gonna physically harm them. They might get heckled and called out for their lies, but their life is not under threat. That's ridiculous. You take Trump out. I'm telling you, I'm not calling for it. I'm not a violent person. I'm never going to harm anybody.
No, minutes after Trump dies,
it's game on, man. It's not going to be good.
It'll be horrible.
It's not going to be good. And I don't want any violence to any people in Congress or anyone in this country. But
because they're pieces of shit. You don't go out and step on dog turds. That's what I mean. Like, you assholes don't get it, man. You keep punching and you think there's nothing at the end of it.
But most people realize that, people will still fight for America. And I think if you take Trump out, they now realize, okay, America really has fallen. Someone is over America right now.
They take our resistance to violence as weakness. No, it's restraint.
And it's
once the gloves come off,
it's like a powder keg. Exactly. The tensity is just
they think we're afraid. They really think we've done this informationally. You think physically that's easier than information. You don't think we don't know how to literally make your life a fucking hell? That's what I mean. We start this war. We start off that porch. It's
we were talking to you because I'm not trying to be down and out about this, but it's I look at the average American and I just wonder, do we have a fighting chance? The average American, are they gonna stand up and fight? Are they gonna wake up to this?
Well, I would just say this. The good news is the average military, even the contractors, they hate who they work for. They're awake. That's why they want robots to run stuff, because then they would.
And that's why they want robots instead of humans. And so they'll say, "Oh, we're going to promise you. We give you the false promise of immortality. Just plug in to the digital matrix, take your chip, and you're going to live forever. But as soon as you take that chip, that's when you die. There's no such thing as immortal life. There's no such thing as immortality and never dying. As soon as you plug in to something that's not the organic God-made world, you're dead. And they know that. And that's why they want to get everybody to plug into that matrix. They're grooming them right now with the digitals and the social medias and everything. So it's trendy. It's cool. Oh, computer chip in my wrist. I get access to my car. I get access to my door.
And it's super cool once you do it.
But then they say, take it one step further. Oh, now we can live forever. You just have to jack your brain into the matrix here. And as soon as you do that, you're dead. You're dead, and humanity's dead. But isn't humanity a scourge on the earth? That's what these people believe. They're anti.
Well, that's what it is. So I go back to this. The average leftist is kind of an asexual person. They don't even have sex. Like they say they're gay, but they're not. They're just, you see like the moderators. It's like a little freaked out person that has no friends, but kind of gets bots telling them what to do. And they think, kill Trump, kill, we'll do well. But they never go to Venezuela. They never go to China. They just have this delusion that they've got power because they're part of the power structure. What do those people do if Trump is killed? Because I look at Trump, he's a real champion. And, he's up there telling the truth, and he did basic things to bring the country back because he knew it was artificial. He thought, well, I can make it better, easy. They've been artificially suppressing, but I just see an old lion at 72 years. And I'm going to be honest with listeners, because I can't lie to people. I can see Trump's soul fading. He thought if he made things better and turned the economy on, you would appreciate it. And a lot of folks do, but a lot of people don't. And he's had his whole family attacked and so many people that he's going to keep fighting on, but it just makes me sick. It makes me sick. It makes me physically angry that people don't understand someone championing their cause. They're so goddamn spoiled that I just don't know where this ends on.
Well, just imagine the state of an American media, Alex, that would basically tell you Trump is the worst thing ever before he got elected, the day he decided to run. And then he becomes president. It's been 4 years since he announced he's run. He's been president for 2 years almost. And what has he done? Everything he promised just about. I mean, the economy's booming. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And to me, Alex, the most shocking thing is that you have an American media that will sit here and lie about Trump for 4 straight years and will never tell you anything.
Because they're far and out, but that's my point is that.
But so Trump does it, and he's like, look, I'm just kicking ass, and they just keep telling me how bad I am. And so he's just like, what? And then people don't even see it. They don't even see it. And even if they look.
Well, take us. Like, I don't follow QAnon. At first, it's like, oh, cute. We're going to win. Oh, everybody's going to get arrested. Oh, it's cute and funny. Some 4chan thing. And then I start hearing Corsi's a Fed, and I'm a Fed, and all this other stuff. Like, we build the whole movement and do this. We're in a total, I'm being sued, I'm being attacked, and then I see these guys like these, and I see no shadow banning on Google or Facebook or Twitter. I mean, QAnon is just flamethrowed, like it's pressed by Google. And I can look at it, I'm like, Jesus, they just put a QAnon post out saying, kill me or arrest me, and it's got 50,000 views in an hour. They do that for like rock bands that pay YouTube $100 million. And I go, Jesus Christ. And then you see who they've got. It's like some bombed out, weird guy going, Jones is the enemy. He's going to go to prison. The plan is in place. Everything's good. Mueller will soon arrest Jones and Stone. And they're just saying Robert Mueller is good. Arrest. I was watching this morning. I was cooking eggs for my kids and watching it. And I started crying, and not in a wimpy way, but I never saw Satan's angles like this, because I was looking at this where I'm this enemy and I'm this agent, and I'm watching this, and there's these weird whacked out people believing it. And it's like everything we've done in launching Trump and America and fighting and being sued and being shut down. And they go, oh, that's all a cover to make them look big. Oh, yeah, well, great. And them saying Mueller is a good guy. And a year ago that Hillary would already be arrested. None of it's true. And it's this clear propaganda, and then all these people buying it. And they don't get to me by, like, attacking me. It's their dead eyes and how they look like dead zombies. I was watching this one guy. He looked like a dead zombie. And he was like, I used to believe it for Alex Jones for 15 years, but he's the tree of poison. And then he just pulled back and he went, but now I believe in QAnon and Trump. Like, I lead people to Trump and all this, and then now it's QAnon, it's Trump. But it's not. Trump's under attack. He hates Mueller. All this is happening, and it's like you look at them, and they're in a trance, and you see it, and it's like, why aren't I in a trance? Because so many people you look at are like in a trance now. And you sit there, and it's like, because it's that Calvinist thing. And I'm not a Calvinist, because I don't want to believe that. But it's true. It's like predestined. And I get it's free will, but it's like, we're not Satanists, so we don't see these slaves and then use them. But then the thing is, we don't enslave these mental midgets, but then they still want to destroy us. So it's like there's the enemy above, and then there's the people that you're trying to free. They want to destroy you. And you can't get through to them. And they're like gone. They're like on a Cylon Raider. They want to destroy you. I don't know how. I don't know how to describe it, but that's what depresses me, Owen, because they're
spiritually dead, Alex. Their soul has been sucked. The life force, dead.
They look dead.
They have no life force. They have no drive. Everything exists in the digital world. That's where they get all their jollies. I mean, think about that.
And it's all fake. As long as, Jones is bad, QAnon is good, YouTube pushes me, I get a bunch of empty clicks, Jones is going to be arrested. He's a fraud.
Well, I will tell you this. I think that as far as the Q thing is concerned, I believe that, whatever was going on with Q in the beginning, legit or not, co-opted, everything. There was an article, it was after a Trump rally. It was early August, big Trump rally. And there were a ton of Q signs at the rally. First time I'd ever seen that. Well, the next day, NBC writes an article pumping up Q. Of course, says it's fake, but covering it now. So now it's in the mainstream, right? So they covered it. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to read the story anyway. They're saying, Q, everyone goes and looks at Q. And ever since that day, everything changed. Trump no longer allows signs into his rallies, and QAnon now has decided to turn its attack on the media. So I think after that rally, it was actually American media that co-opted Q. So whatever Q was, propaganda, whoever, whatever, I now believe that the American media has co-opted Q and is using it to attack you.
Well, I mean, that's it, because
it's probably Stelter and Darcy, honestly.
Well, I mean, I sat there and I was like with people like Corsi. I'm like, okay, I respect you. You think Q is this real thing. Some name I don't know, whatever. And then I just see these Q things like Jones is going to prison. He's a fucking asshole. He's like, and I'm like going, what?
Well, and that's the problem. Even from the beginning, let's say there was a real Q at some point putting out real information. Well, how easy is it to co-opt an anonymous source on the internet?
But that's the whole point is you're Owen Schroyer. That's your real name. I'm Alex Jones. I mean, I don't end the show with this. I just sat there and watched like a 15-minute video this morning. It was so depressing. Like, Alex Jones is going to get arrested, and he's this I've never been to Israel, but it's true.
Well, Alex, I mean,
I'm not against Israel. Like, what do? Turn Israel over to the Muslims?
Well, that's a geopolitical issue that people can't even. I mean, they can't even figure out a geopolitical issue in their own home.
Well, that's the thing is that I'm not mad at the whole Q phenomenon. It's that you sit there and you look at these zoned out, like weird looking zombies that are saying these lies about you when you've launched the Trump phenomenon, your listeners have, and you're taking the country back and you're under total attack. All these fake lawsuits, you're being sued, you experienced it. We're like life and death, neck and neck with this. These people go, oh, they're not real. An anonymous person says they're full of crap. And it's like the theft of our will, the theft of everything we are. And then these zombos, and then you look and they don't demonetize any of it. YouTube and Google and Facebook just, if I came out and said QAnon was real and all that and everything's fine and secretly Sessions is a good guy and Mueller's a good guy, I mean, my God, I would have been banned. And you watch these people, they don't even know, they're not conscious. They don't go, well, I'm actually selling Alex out and Trump out because I get promoted on these big digital platforms because I believe in QAnon. They're not even conscious. They just see that suddenly everything they're doing is being pushed, and they just sit back like a satanic narcissistic glow, and they go, I'm sorry to have to talk about Jones, but he's the enemy. And you're like, Jesus Christ, we just lost more people. And it's the fallenness of these people. It's how weak they are that makes you sad. Because, I mean, Mueller's good. Trump's in with Mueller. Bullshit. I've talked to the president. Other people have. This is a fraud. This is Democrat run. But imagine how they run that psyop, how they counter us, Owen.
Well, and again, people will – it's all about – it's the new digital high, Alex. It's the new digital high. So, I want to get my digital fix for today, and Q is my drug. So what did Q post today? Oh, Q says that Alex Jones is, a propaganda agent. Yes, I just got my digital high.
But Q's not banned anywhere.
No. Q's promoted now. I'm telling you, that's when the American media co-opted Q about a month ago after a Trump rally. NBC printed the story. The American media co-opted Q since then. It's probably Stelter and Darcy. But Alex, I remember.
Well, it's right when I got banned, they launched it.
Yes, same timing. Exact same timing. But Alex, I just look at. I remember I was in high school when social media really got popular and people started doing Facebook and all this stuff. And I was never really into it. In fact, I thought it was stupid. I thought it was pathetic because I love life. I get high off of the real world. Like I go step out into the real world and I meet people and I shake people's hands. I say hello. I go to events. I go to concerts and sporting events. Like I love that. I love the real world. I love the 3D realm where actual stuff is happening as the creator of this planet intended for it to happen. But
it's camera work?
Jones the cameraman now. But Alex, the people don't even. It's like I was at the UT football game last night, and I love it. The sights, the sounds, and the smells, and meeting people, and conversations, and everything. But now you go to a game, Alex, and half the audience is just staring at a tablet. Half the audience is trying to do a hashtag to get on some message board at the stadium, and I'm just sitting here like eating a hot dog, and I'm like,
it's almost it's very freeing actually to not be on Twitter now.
Well, you were talking about how it's like shackles have been lifted from you because you don't have to think about what is going to get you banned on social media anymore. But that's the new high, Alex. That's the new high is okay. I'm going to go on Twitter and I'm going to get the hashtag and I'm going to try to get on the board and maybe I'll get a retweet from a check mark verified and maybe I'll get 100 new followers today and it's that's how they get high. That's their high. Or I'm going to go on Facebook and I got the biggest like of all my friends today. I had 500 likes on my video. Oh my gosh. And they look at the other guy who always gets the more likes and it's like that is the new.
It's a casino gulag.
And it's sad to me, Alex, because it's just like that's the soul suck right there. That is the soul suck. Our soul, God made our soul to get high off of the physical world, to see something that you're attracted to, whether it be in nature.
But not some digital lie.
But that's what it is now. So now people get their high digitally because it's easier. They can do it on their ass. It's right there. It's on a nice screen.
No, I agree. So we're in a revolution against being wireheads. That's what it comes down to. So will they assassinate Trump? They're trying to take him out just as he's not to get America. We'll see what happens.
I think right now, in the next 58 days, your life and President Trump's life is in its greatest risk ever. Because if we know one thing, Alex, it's that these people are going for broke. They will not let their plans for global enslavement they won't just let it go. They're not going to let Alex Jones defeat them. They're not going to let Donald Trump defeat them. They're going to go till the bitter end. And quite honestly, and I pray to God Trump is smart enough to understand this, but they'll blow this planet to hell before they give it up. I mean, they will murder. They'll kill us all, Alex. They'll unleash a bioweapon, nuke something, nuke the water supply.
No, they are crazy because their whole religion is controlling people.
And that's their threat, isn't it, Alex? That's what they hold over Trump. That's what they hold over Trump. They say, Trump, and this is why I think that they're going to bully Trump into this war in Syria. And they're going to say, listen, President Trump, you go along with us or we're going to fucking kill this whole planet. Okay? And that's what they're going to say. And they're going to say, and you know how we control the media.
Oh, like the EU used to say, do this, we'll bring in war.
And they know how the media will be able to control the people. So they'll come in, they'll launch some mass bio attack or some crap, and billions of people die, and they'll say it was Trump. And that's what they hold over Trump. And they say, you better go to this war in Syria. We had the plans to topple this country 3 years ago, and the American people stopped us. We were supposed to do it with Hillary. You better not stop us, Donald, or we're going to nuke America. And that's what they hold over Trump's head. And this, you know, Alex, a lot of this, look, we're not in Kansas anymore, okay? A lot of people hear messages like this, and they can't even comprehend it. But everybody deep down instinctually knows
it's true.
This planet has been corrupted, okay? This planet's been corrupted by evil. Life has been corrupted by evil, and we're here pointing it out, showing you the final plan, and Donald Trump is the biggest knight in the way right now.
He's only there in the position of power because he's the switch if we make the right decision. That's what it is. He's there so we can make that right decision psychically, culturally, financially, politically.
And we're just begging people to make the right decision, Alex. I mean, just begging and pleading, like, please see the light, you know?
We'll see what happens. All right, we've done a lot of live feeds today, Infowars.com, Newswars.com. Will they kill the president? There's a bear crap in the woods. Infowars.com/show. Get the free podcast. They banned the iPhone app that was #1. You can still get the Android app. Okay, Owen, great job. Thanks to the crew. We'll see you back tomorrow, 8 a.m. with David Knight, and then I'll be back 11 a.m. and then Owen at 3 p.m. Central. Thank you, Owen. Great job. Thanks to the crew. Look at that. Everybody else is just like yellow or clear. That's because it's been denatured. It's been watered down. We didn't do that. You think I would metaphysically sell you something that is the very best I can get? I'd rather go to hell than do that. I will only give you the maximum best info, the maximum truth, the maximum product, because I want that goodwill. What I do to you, I do to myself. Don't you get the big secret? You ever seen fish oil look like that? No, you never seen that, have you? And this little jewel right here is solid, liquid consciousness. Look it up. Find out how even the FDA and the government admits fish oil is incredible. The #1 thing anybody can do for themselves is take good fish oil or krill oil. Just like our information is dynamite, so are our products, Infowarsstore.com.